Welcome to All Things HTLT. We are here because our faith is a priority and leading teens closer to Christ is our mission. We are sinners, striving to be perfect and giving all glory to God on the way. You are welcome to join us on this adventure. Turn up your volume and make sure you're in the perfect place to enjoy this next episode of All Things HTLT. Hello, all you awesome people out there listening and watching. We are going to be doing something a little bit crazy and a little bit different. We are going to have more than just 4 usual guests. We have 7 guests and hosts for us tonight. So we are, or today, or whenever you're listening to this, it's going to be awesome. We are going to be talking about all things HTLT and just the going down memory lane of how Holy Trinity Life Teen has been for you. So I'm a little biased, so I brought in some cool cats to kind of talk to us through. Carol Baskin. Ooh, talk us through Life Teen memories and all that kind of good stuff. So just say your name and favorite color. Anybody can go.
Why am I getting pointed at?
Mike, take it away.
I think we need to do like rock, paper, scissors. Hi, my name is Mike Patel, like long walks on the beach. No, shit. I think, I don't know, blue, black, favorite colors.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm Kevin Costa to be exact. And my favorite color would probably be green. Green. But not just any green.
Like a Bass Pro Shop green.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like a light green, not dark green.
Feel you. Not a forest green.
Teal.
A teal guy. Yeah.
No, not teal.
Okay, specific.
My name is Christian Miramontes, and my favorite color is probably blue. Like any shade of blue.
Like your hat?
Like the hat.
My turn?
Yeah.
My name is Lacey Vara, and my favorite color is also blue. Ocean blue. Ooh.
Ocean blue.
But ocean
Which-
blue
yeah,
can be
which
different
ocean?
color, but like different oceans.
Atlantic.
The deep kind or shallow?
Atlantic. No,
Like the Bahamas?
like, yeah, like you
Italian
can see
ocean.
through.
Oh, yeah.
So
So like
clear.
a see-through glue.
So
blue.
clear. So clear. Clear.
I'm Corinne Castellan, and my favorite color is yellow.
Yellow. Yeah. I
Any
knew that.
kind of yellow.
Like
Corinne, we
Like
have
a
the same
pastel?
favorite color. Yeah, I can do pastel. I can do bright. You know.
Feel you.
You're
Thanks.
so yellow. You're just so yellow. I can tell.
like Pokemon.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Like I can just tell she likes yellow. You too, Jenna.
Well, that was my favorite color. Okay, so I'm Jenna. Yeah, my favorite color is yellow, and like probably blue and pink.
Blue?
That's a wide range.
Yeah.
I know. It's like Roy G. Bibb. Roy G. Bibb. Isn't that
What?
red,
What?
orange, yellow, blue?
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of that?
I never heard of that.
Really?
You're old.
Have you heard about
Jason.
that?
I'm
Roy
good.
G. Bibb?
No.
Oh, wow. Have you heard of
No.
Oh.
I heard of RGB.
Okay.
He's asking the
Never
older
mind.
people. Mike, he's asking the
I
I've
know.
never heard
Sorry.
of
I
it.
wanted to see if everybody knew that acronym. Guess not. So we're going to be talking about Life Teen. So my first kind of question and the thing that pops into your mind is what is, when you think of like one memory of Life Teen, like just one, you can think of a ton and everything of all that. When you think of just one memory, what is that? What memory comes to mind? Oh, good
I
Lord.
think Mike has a memory.
Why do I see this bus coming?
Oh, yes.
I think the bus rides, but I mean, in all, it was the Malibu was the most memorable for me.
Oh, really?
Because there was like several instances where it was just so dynamic and fun.
What retreat?
Oh, geez, I went like 3 of them right there. So each of them had their own different perks to it.
I know, yeah. Malibu has. I was hoping, actually, I didn't tell anybody this, but well, I might have told the core. I was hoping to do the fall retreat back in Gilmore, but COVID.
Rip.
Rip.
So the buses are always a good memory. How about you guys? What do you guys think? What memory pops into your mind?
The campfire, we had that one retreat at Gilmore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
It was just like a cool experience having like everyone around the campfire and having fun after like a long day of just like sitting inside.
What did we do at the campfire?
Uh,
All of these blend for me.
we did something with like we wrapped something. It was like banana. It had like marshmallow.
What?
And
This is not.
someone brought like these like things you
mean the
put above
tortas?
the fire. No.
What
So, like they were
bonfires?
wrapped in foil, and it was like a banana that was cut open, and they had like marshmallows and like some chocolate or something.
It's like a s'more.
Kind
I
of
remember we
like
had
a s'more
sandwiches
thing.
wrapped in foil.
And then we just started throwing Oreos at each other.
I remember the Oreo.
What
I remember the
retreat
Oreo.
was
I think this was like a fever dream.
Timeless.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Yeah, that was like what, a first?
Yeah.
Or second? First?
I
Yeah,
remember
something like
Timeless.
that. I was in a
I don't remember
my
that.
first bonfire too.
Yeah.
My first retreat.
And then we never
Bonfire.
did that after.
Because we used to do the bonfires the night we get there, didn't we? Or was it
No.
kind of second night?
Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday
Then
night.
we
After
tried it.
adoration.
Yeah,
then we
we
tried
tried it.
Friday. Yeah. We've moved them around and everything. I remember the bonfires. The things that I remember the logistics. So it's like putting out the bonfire. You like with. Do you guys were you? I don't know if anybody was there when David would just use the hose.
No.
And it was just
I wasn't there
like-
for that.
Like
Oh my
smoke up.
gosh. Yeah, it was like crazy.
And then that same retreat, like you just had Liam, I think,
Oh.
and like Izzy and Mafutano would be like, "Hey, like Jace, we're gonna take Liam to go swimming in the pool
Oh my
later."
gosh. That
Yeah.
It was
oh my
so
gosh. So that was a
funny.
brick? Was that no, that
No,
was
it was
No,
Timeless.
Oh, well, I
Oh my
actually I remember
gosh.
that.
And
That was
like he
Timeless.
like that was like the running joke that he'd always be like, "I'm gonna go take Liam to go swimming. Like
Oh
we're
my
gonna go swimming
gosh.
later."
The only thing I remember from Timeless. No, that was Brick. Oh, sorry. I remember the first retreat, and then everything else kind of blends, and there's moments that and then I remember the latest retreat.
Yeah, that's kind of how my memory goes too. Yeah.
Oh.
They kind of all mix.
Well, what memory stands out for you?
I would say hiking to the cross. I think on my first retreat.
Oh, really? I've never hiked to the cross.
I've
Oh
never
my
either.
goodness.
I hiked to the cross.
I have
It was
too. Mike took a picture of
so
me.
Fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I've only done it once.
Who was the person that went with you?
Ooh, I don't remember.
The leader?
I remember I was in the back. That's all I remember.
Was it Caitlin?
I think it maybe was.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it
Because
was.
she was on
Caitlin.
Kingdom with
Oh.
us.
Oh, that was my first retreat. I'm getting
Kingdom?
confused. Timeless wasn't my first retreat. Kingdom was. Yeah, Kingdom.
Kingdom was
I
a
went on
big retreat.
I went on the cross hike for Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun.
I loved kind of like the free time that we always had. Like we started to not do free time later
Yeah.
on. But free time was like cool to like get to see people, talk to people and everything. I felt like at Camp Crags, all the free time was like
What's
Camp
Camp
Crags.
not Camp Crags. Camp Crags is Camp Gilmore and Camp Crags, but Camp Cedar Crest. I felt like free time was like rushed. Like
Yeah.
we were like doing stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But maybe the teens have different,
Yeah.
different
You
experiences.
guys were teens.
Maybe it was just because of you. You're
And I
like,
think
oh,
I think it was because
maybe.
it's like a big open area too at the
Oh,
new retreat
yeah.
center. Whereas
Yeah.
like at was it Gilmore?
Gilmore, yeah.
It was just like right there, the basketball courts, and then the hike.
Yeah.
less to do.
Yeah.
How about you guys? What's a particular memory?
One that sticks out to me is like the first time we got there on Timeless, we just started playing basketball,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and that was really fun. And then one of my other retreats, me and Jackson had to be painted blue on like the first night.
What?
It was for one of the
Oh,
skits.
The AMEs,
It
yeah.
Like
was
a
for one of the
blue man?
AMEs. Yeah, like me and Jackson were both like
Jackson
painted
Diva.
completely blue.
Oh.
And
Oh
then
my gosh, I don't even remember.
I don't either.
and then we had to go to one of we had to go to the showers after. And then the paint wouldn't come off of Jackson.
This is where Nicholas De La Torre, the camping one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were camping and he kept showing up like to scare them and everything.
Yeah.
And Jackson DeLeva and you would come in to
Yeah. We were like fully painted blue.
Yeah. No, I remember that cuz I have pictures of that.
And then I remember Jackson couldn't get all the paint off of him. So I got out of the shower and I was cool.
Did you let him borrow your towel?
No, I didn't let him borrow my towel.
Wait, this was
Because I learned from my
Timeless?
mistake.
Wait,
No,
what
it
retreat was
wasn't.
this?
This was it wasn't the one right after Timeless. I want to say it was the one after that. It was my first time on a retreat team, I want to
Heart of
say.
God?
Might have been Heart of God.
Probably.
Heart of God was
I think it was Heart of God.
Yeah, I think it was Heart of God.
But yeah.
Nah, I don't,
Because
I
then
don't
Sarah was
think
like,
it
"Where's
was.
Jackson?" And I was like, "He's still in the bathroom."
Oh my
I was like, "He's still like trying to get the paint off of him."
I remember the AMEs. Like those are the one like those like the big things like AMEs, dramas, fun folk every so often. I remember the environment all the time, like of kind of what happened. And then I remember setting up beforehand, like for those that have gone up like beforehand, like the setup is just like all the setups and rushing around and trying to do and all that. I don't know. How about you guys? What memory comes to mind?
No, you go, Grin.
I can think of so many, but I don't know.
Like our favorite memory?
No, just one that sticks out. I don't know. I mean, we talked about a lot in a previous episode, but the one where for me is the one that Corinne actually brought up with the prank with me.
Oh yes.
When they so long story short, they pranked me and said, hey, you're not scheduled here. The camp said you're not scheduled to.
Oh, yeah, I remember
you
that.
were here.
Yeah.
I think you were the one that started it. Yeah, you and David.
Of course,
I'm
Mike.
like, yeah.
Mike was recording it.
And I'm like, I'll have to see if I have that. Maybe I do have a video of that.
Yeah, I remember that. They rolled up on the little golf cart and they came out, and then we just got there.
Yeah.
And then Jace was coming down saying, hey, they had a basket.
We
And
have
they're like,
said
hey, I'm sorry, but we double booked it. We can't have this. We can't have you guys here. You're going to need to grab everybody. And you seen Jace, you know how he does his little walk back and forth? He was like,
I'm like, we ain't leaving.
No,
No.
remember that one time you
Left the key.
You forgot to give him the keys
In
back.
here? Oh.
And you had to drive
Yeah,
back.
I had to drive all the
You
way
had
back.
it around your neck the
Golly.
whole entire time until we got back, and I was like, I remember, I think I was near you, and you're like, oh my goodness. Like,
Oh, I
keys around your neck.
forgot
was
about
that?
that.
I have no clue.
It was like I think our last time at
You
Malibu.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Which one was
No,
that?
One of the-
I wasn't director.
But you came in my car?
Yeah, you were in his car. Cause I wasn't.
No.
I think I was in your car, but I wasn't director.
That was one before you guys were director, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. But I had the
Yeah.
key, and I had to drive
this
up
one?
the net. I mean, this is like an hour drive,
Yeah.
like without traffic. It's
That
less,
was
but
that's crazy to me.
oh my gosh. Yeah, there's all these little like things that happen on retreats that I'm just like I thought you were meaning when I forgot the keys for the lights in room.
Oh,
I was
that
there.
one
Oh my
too.
That was something.
I remember
So-
that. I very much remember that because me
So-
and Grant kept going around trying to look for I was like, hey Grant, let's go check around and see if there's an open window. And there's one that was barely cracked open, and Grant was like, I can open this.
Oh, I know
We-
about that.
We were oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, you
we
already
were
left.
I
like
left.
Yeah, Lacey.
oh, you
left.
left?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went back to school.
Oh,
the same,
yeah.
like, right away.
That was
We
such a
had
stressful-
That was
I mean we
such
had
a-
It was so
what
bad.
was it like 200 kids? Was this
Yeah.
the confirmation one or the
Yeah, it
This
was.
is the confirmation one.
They were
200
like-
kids
so
plus their
mad.
parents.
plus their parents were and they're everybody at the end of the retreat, you know, everybody's ready to go and all that kind of good stuff. And then I'll tell you it from my perspective.
Oh, no.
So I come down or I go up at the church and I make the announcement. I'm like, oh, Jenna probably has my keys. Like I'll get down there to
You
unlock
asked
it.
me though. You
On
were
the
talking
mic?
to kids. You're like, Jenna, you have my keys? And then you're talking about the church key. So I was like, oh yeah, like I have the key. Then I was like, wait, I only have the church key. And you're like, what? I thought
Oh,
you had
yeah.
the 19 room key.
And I was like, no. And so I ran down and I like tried doors and stuff. And I was like, this is not good. Because I know they don't keep any keys outside, like out in any of the boxes or anything. So I'm inside, like trying to look for any sort of key, like in the office. And then Corinne comes in, like, and this is after like 10 minutes of me just like looking. And I was like, Corinne, I don't want to go back out there. Like,
Yeah, you didn't want to go
You
out.
sent
Yeah,
me
you
out
didn't.
there and
I
was
know.
like, we're gonna figure this out. Like we're all good.
And then Corinne left, and then Corinne
I was like,
disappeared.
I'm dipping.
And then it was me, Carly, and Kevin all by the door, and the teens started pushing us towards the door to get in.
yeah.
And the parents like, what's going on? And we're like, it'll be a few more minutes.
yeah. I
After
was
like a 2-hour wait.
Yeah.
It was a long time, and I'm calling everybody. I'm calling like Father Kevin, who's still up at the church. I'm calling just different people, and people are like that work here, like, oh, you know, like it'll take me 45 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well, I have 200 teens plus 2 parents, and everybody wants to get home. They have homework and everything. Oh, it was just.
And they don't have their cell phone at this
And they
point.
don't
I
have-
think
it's
it
all
was
in
the
here.
Cell phone
Yeah.
that everybody
Yeah.
was like freaking out about.
Oh yeah.
It's
Because
like,
they could have gone
you-
home and got their luggage
Oh,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
100%.
It's just we had their phones
And I
locked
mean,
in here.
Father Kevin came down. He doesn't have a key, and we were just looking around trying to get into places that we knew had the key, but we didn't have the key to even get into there. And then I was like, I'm just gonna drive to the maintenance person's house.
Oh,
and
yeah.
go. And so I was like,
About to get in your car.
everybody,
and
yeah.
you saw
I
them.
ran around, and then Grant and Christian
Yeah.
were in the back window, and they're like, "Hey, this window's kind of cracked open. We could probably pull it and open it." And I was like, do it. Like, but you're like, Grant was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I was like, just do it. I'll pay for the difference, whatever, you know. And so long story short, he like was pulling, and then finally it just came open. And
I remember Grant opened the
and he
door and he
comes
was like, ah! and then Sarah was like, move!
everybody went ballistic. Like, it was crazy. He's like, yeah, and everybody's like, yeah, and everybody just tried to swarm in. And like the poor people that were like in front of the line were like in the back of the line because they couldn't. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah. What other story?
I remember I called my parents that day and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be like another hour.
Just wait. What other story do you guys remember? What pops into your head? Even a life night. Maybe
the Uber skit.
Oh, really?
Give me some for that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was such a good one.
I know. I always give you guys a hard time, but I don't think that's my favorite. But it was a good one.
We weren't here.
Don't be bitter over there.
We weren't here when your favorite one was
Translation?
Yeah, we weren't here.
No, I was here. That
I
one.
never
you
seen
were?
that
Translator
one.
was funny. It was just so
It was
hysterical.
just
I
pure and like.
The
It was-
people that
it changed
did it,
every
Yeah.
single time.
yeah, made it.
It like every time we rehearsed it, every time it was different. So it was like it was just funny every single time. Like it was watching it for the first time.
Yeah, it was.
So
It takes a special person to be good at
it
AME.
really does, yeah. How about dramas? What drama is there something that stands out from dramas? I just remember there are dramas that we do like we have little props, and then there are dramas that we have
Like the big papers.
20 cinder blocks
The bricks.
that are
Oh my god.
Those bricks.
that are
my
like
goodness, that
30
was-
cinder blocks, and I was like, hey, let's get a big wall of bricks.
That was crazy.
It was pretty crazy.
I remember during one of the dramas, I was supposed to dress up like a demon. And then I had to dress up like a demon, and then I had to act like a demon, so I just kept like looking at people, and then I looked at Bobby, and he just started laughing.
Oh my gosh, I know that it's always like this hit or miss. Is like if it's going to be a, it's like who's there, if it makes it funny, if somebody's like right there.
I remember one drama. It had to do with spray painting, but it wasn't this last spray
Oh, it
painting
was-
one. It was the
first
first
one.
one.
Yeah, it was the first
that
one.
Was ever, maybe you were you?
I did
Yeah,
the
yeah.
drama.
Of course, Corinne.
Stacy and
It was really good.
Yeah.
Like I don't really remember what happens, but I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, that's a really good one.
Hmm.
I think maybe they were all wearing white shirts. Were they all wearing white shirts? And then
Yeah.
there was like spray paint
I don't
on
know.
the poster or the
and we
shirts.
spray painted the shirt.
Yeah, you spray painted the shirt. Yeah, that was a good one. That one was good.
I think my favorite one was drama. Was the one
With
where
Tina?
No, Ashley. That was a good one too. But the one with Ashley, well, Tina's was a good one too. Now that I'm thinking about it, but with Ashley, where they lifted up Ashley, and then it's like the song was like it dropped, and so it's like everybody's lifting her up,
And she just
and she's just like once the song drops, like so first they like piled on to Jesus, right, and then Ashley like runs in or something into the whole mix and group, and everybody picks her up, and she's like on top of like 20 different people that are just like holding, and then it's like the song drops and everybody drops and Jesus catches her like in the midst of it.
Wait,
It
what?
was like,
This?
dude, it was
don't
in
remember
Wait, I
it
don't
was
remember this.
early on, really
Probably a long
early
time
on.
ago.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was with a different church group.
Different hair.
Wait, Kevin,
Remember when
wait.
Bobby was Jesus?
Oh,
and we
yeah.
all just like wailed on him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
beating
Because
him
I remember
up.
Danny was in that one, and then Danny kept being like, "You deserve this." It was like he kept saying something.
And he's like, my shirt.
Yeah, his
Alb or
alb
something.
like
Yeah.
came off, and then like he's up on the cross. He's like, put it back on.
Oh my god.
Was it during your two when you guys were directors? You guys had like a drama or something at the end, and then it like ended up just being like an AME or something. Or you guys didn't know what to do.
Oh yeah, we didn't know like what to
Oh my
do.
gosh,
Which one was
yes.
that?
What was
The
this?
going home, the going
Yeah.
home.
School Lacey, remember?
Oh.
And there was supposed to be a church bell or a
Oh my
school
God.
bell.
Yeah.
And Lacey's just like sitting there like, yeah, I'm the cool girl. Like,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
when I was
Oh,
and like to
I
the point that
remember.
we all just kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like vaguely remember that. Sometimes I was telling Jace the other day, I like repress all of the memories of the retreat and never think about them after the weekend. And randomly, like I was brushing my teeth the other day, and like a memory popped up, and I was just like staring at myself in the mirror. Like, oh my goodness, that was like so stressful. Like what was I? And so
Yeah.
things like that one, like I'm kind of getting a glimpse of it a little bit, but it's not. It's
Oh,
not
I
coming back
remember
to
it
me.
for
It's
sure.
funny.
I remember that one, and I remember the AME where I think Amanda, was it the streetlights? Streetlights.
Oh yeah. I always think of that one. Whenever that song comes on, like I'm just like Lacey and Amanda.
You guys didn't know the lyrics?
I know,
Like,
it
it was-
happened. And that one was like funny. Like that
Oh,
one we
it's-
practiced so many times. and
Oh,
it was
it's
like
so
good.
funny. But it was funny
we
because
repeated,
nobody
like,
knew
all
like
the
what was going
parts.
on either. Oh,
Yeah,
it was
no,
so
remember
funny.
that one AME we did it was at the Malibu. It was maybe the first time I was on retreat team, and it was in the cafeteria. It
The
Was it
silent
the-
dude. I was gonna say
Oh,
That one,
I
and
remember
nobody
that one.
laughed
We were
at
so
it.
pumped,
Yeah,
like,
no
this is
one
gonna be the
laughed at
funniest-
it.
Was this
is
the
gonna be the
rapping one?
funniest-
Yeah.
Oh, I
It
remember
was
that
not
one.
funny at all.
It was gonna be the
He's
funniest
like,
AME.
oh.
We were so excited, and it was silent. The crowd was silent. We were like, what are we
We
doing?
were busting up and we were like
Yeah.
were practicing
It
it.
was like it was gonna be the funniest one of the retreat.
And someone just started clapping because nobody was like.
we were like,
David
we
must
were
have not been on
so
there.
sad.
Yeah.
Like we were so sad.
That was the
Oh.
funniest.
Yeah, that one was funny.
That one, I wasn't there for that one actually. I have a video of it actually. Though.
I think it was because it was in the cafeteria, and we were all like,
You're like in the
I
middle of
don't
eating,
know.
and then it just started. We were like, what?
Okay, Kevin, if it was on the stage and we got the respect we deserved for that, it would have been good. And
I
we
was
would have
gonna
had laughs.
say that one too.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
good one.
You think back on, you're like, I could have done
I,
something.
I guess we'll never
I'm gonna
know.
write that
I
one in
know.
the book for next time.
Well, we'll reuse that one.
Next retreat,
That's a
let's do it.
And we'll see
recyclable.
if people laugh.
What was something that like helped you guys in a more serious kind of note? Like, what was something that like it helped you enter in on retreats? What was someone maybe?
The
No, actually, don't do the
dramas.
someone. Don't do someone, but you can do something.
I think the dramas really helped me enter in because I never was one to enter in like in prayer or anything. But then like seeing like how serious the dramas can be and like how people go through the same things you're going through and able to like enter in and grow closer in your faith. I think that really helped me.
For me, it's always been the music.
Oh,
Just like
really?
listening to the lyrics, like while they're being like sang. Yeah.
Lacey, they can see your face. So,
She's like,
naughty man. I forgot that they can see
I
me.
you're straight on.
I would say mine would be confession.
oh, really?
Yeah, confession.
There was a retreat that confession was like
Terrible?
the favorite. No,
Oh,
well, yeah,
oh,
there's been
I
those.
remember I was gonna say confession one year was like so bad.
Yeah.
Was it
It
when it
was
was like
so
cold
fast.
outside?
There
Yeah.
was one priest that was like
one-
doing it in like 30
I
seconds.
remember
Really?
And
that
I had
priest.
teens come
Not
up
even
to
30
me.
seconds. It was like
It was
15.
so bad.
Yeah, and
It
I was
was-
doing the music.
Yes.
And I had to come out and be like, okay, well,
And I
you
remember-
need to redo this confession because they don't feel like,
yeah.
Yeah.
well, I don't want to say like satisfied, but like you
But-
didn't even listen to them. Like,
Yeah.
you need
Dang.
to redo it.
Was it when it was
Sometimes
cold
they're
outside?
So good. Sometimes they're
No.
really
No,
good.
Because
It
there
was
was one time
different.
it was really cold outside, and we had to kind of pull everybody back in.
No, this was when
Oh,
they did
really?
them inside.
It was inside around the.
Yeah, around the.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I know
I
exactly.
remember, I remember that one. That one was just.
Was
like,
that who's
oh,
director?
gosh. I don't
I
remember.
don't
I don't remember that.
Was that the one behind the stage?
Yeah,
It was behind
it was
the
behind
stage.
the
Yeah.
stage.
I went to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it was really fast, but there was
Yeah.
one retreat where confession was like the best part.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was.
It was one of the most. It was like within the last 2 years.
I think it's when we had
Father Tim.
Father Tim.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it was when we had Father Tim because we only had him like because we only really had him once, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
didn't he
maybe
do
it
the
was
mass?
Father
He did
Tim.
the mass. Wait, is mass the next day?
No.
No, mass is the same
Mass
day.
is
Not
the
same day as
Okay,
adoration.
so yeah, it was really like he spent a lot of time and it was really good. At least
Yeah.
for me, I had him. I don't know if anywhere.
Did I forced some people to go to Father Tim when there was other options too? I don't know if you were one of them.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
But yeah, we've had confession has been kind of like a big part of like prepping. At least for me too, is like confession is kind of the staple.
Yeah, I think mine was the cabins and meeting with the teens. Because besides all, the smoke and getting ready and the fast pace and setting up and tearing down and getting everybody in their positions, like being in the cabins and then really hearing their teens and then really kind of getting that one-on-one FaceTime with them, and seeing how they enter in is it's enlightening, because it lets you know that you're making a difference in somebody's life. And so when they go to adoration, they're able to open up more, that they're not afraid to talk about it, because we had this small knit group, and when we're getting ready to go to bed, we're just kind of talking and chatting. We're talking about all the challenges in life, right? And everybody can adapt to it, and everybody has different challenges, but at the same time, we all got together and prayed. And I think that was the most powerful, is that we had that moment where we're like, hey, you know what? It's not funny if we pray together. And so when they go back to adoration or the next morning, they're a little bit more open to participating and just really letting go. So.
Honestly, that's the one thing from Camp Gilmore that I miss is the cabin situation.
Yeah.
Like just the cabin.
You can see the difference.
Yeah, if you've been to Camp Gilmore, you know kind of what I'm talking about. But like versus like Camp Cedar Crest, where everybody's kind of like together, where the teens kind of are like, oh, that'll be the better experience, you know, being with my friends, and it's really not. It's
not.
The smaller
especially with
cabin,
the guys.
Yeah.
It's like.
Because like they don't want to open up because their friend's 2 beds away from them.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you bring them outside, they're like, it's too cold out here.
Yeah. Whereas in the cabin, like I remember, I've never had a small group with HT up there, which is so sad. But I've had one with BP Baldwin Park and with St. John's, and it's like the same thing. I loved small group time, because we would have like I've done it twice with them, and the first time I had 9th graders, and then the next time I had it with 12th graders, and it's like you get the difference. So 9th graders will stay up like as long as possible, and then the 12th graders are like, hey Jace, can we go to bed? It's like 9 p.m. I'm like, yes, I love you guys. Like, let's do this. So, but yeah, it's awesome. It's like you have this really tight knit connection with them.
I appreciate it, Jace. Always gave me every freshman.
Oh really?
I always got freshman group, which I didn't mind, but
you're
it was
enthusiastic. The freshmen are hard. Everybody's hard for their own reasons. Like so you have like the freshmen who are like jumpy, you know, and then you have like the seniors who are like, I'm too cool for school, you know.
Honestly, I preferred it when it was mixed. At least for the guys, it might be different for the
guys
girls.
are always
but
mixed.
I like mixed too.
I like love it when it's mixed, because like my first retreat, it was like me, Izzy Maffatano, Tomas, and then 2 other people that I didn't really know. But like I remember we all stayed up that whole night till like, I want to say like 3 a.m. or like later, and we were like playing cards and we were like messing around, and like that's something that I like.
If you're
really
a teen
remember.
listening to this, do not stay
No,
up
don't
for
do
3.
it.
But I know what Christian's talking about, like that same retreat, like my cabin stayed up, like like we were doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like that you build that bond with your cabin. And it's just like, it's crazy.
I've never had like a bond like that I've been able to grow in like such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So like, and just like they were very like clear in like what they were going through, and it helped me to be more clear in what I was going through. So it helped me to be able to like enter in and be honest with like myself and be honest with them.
I think like having that senior, you know, the older upperclassmen and younger classmen kind of mix. We're going to talk more about this. We have a couple other questions to hit on the other side. So we're going to take a brief break. All right, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about something very serious. I'm just kidding. No, just a little bit more serious. So what has been kind of the most powerful prayer experience, I guess, or like spiritual experience? And I'll share mine so that nobody can take it. But I have 2, one on LTLC and then one on, well, let me just tell you the LTLC one. The LTLC is when, I don't even remember which one it is, but it's like everybody was diving so deep, and then we get into, this time it's like not adoration, but we're like really into praise and worship. And everybody just started like speaking from the heart, like right in the middle of like, the praise and worship. And it's like everybody like, and you could see it, like everybody closer to us was like, it was spreading. Like it wasn't just like one area. It was like everybody was just like the spirit was spreading across the room. And it was like something I've felt like not very many times, but it was amazing to kind of like I kind of took a step back and was like, whoa, look at it just spread. Like, and people were just like entering in and praying aloud during the praise and worship songs. And people were like, it was just crazy. And people are singing like their own praises. Ike was like jamming out like to his own song. Emily Wilson, same thing. That was my That's one that I'll always kind of remember.
I don't know if I should say mine. Like,
Why?
what if it's a part of another retreat and I'm giving
Uh,
something away?
Be vague.
It can't be vague. It's like I'll say one. It's like whatever. I'm just gonna say it.
Just say it.
We got letters from home. I
yeah.
think this was like my first retreat. Maybe it was my first or second. I have no idea. That was just like so powerful. Probably one of the most powerful moments I've had on a retreat. And I think I remember thinking too, we were all spread out and I was like, look at everyone crying. I remember the letters were probably in alphabetical order because I got mine like last. And I was like, why is everyone crying? Like, they're just letters from home, like no big deal. I still have my letters to this day, like all of my letters from my sister and my mom. And they were just, I don't know, it was something about just like being away from home and then getting, I don't know what it was.
I have my letter that I got from my dad
Me
when I
too.
was a sophomore in high school. Like, so, 12 years ago?
Yeah, I have I took it to college. Like, I just kept them just in case. Like, they were just so, and it's something like super special, but it was just like, whoa, just the first time reading that, I was like, wow. I was bawling. Everyone was walking around with tissues, like tissue boxes. And that's like the one, it was like during the day too, I'm pretty sure. So, which is just weird because usually people are like that for like adoration or confession sometimes, but it was like a letter from home. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel that. Like, that's not my thing, but like, I was on a different retreat and I got a letter. Like, my whole family wrote me a letter, and like I was going through like a tough time then. Like, I was just like, what the heck? Like, they wrote me letters, and I started bawling, crying. I've never cried on a retreat, so that was like embarrassing. Not
Before
embarrassing,
that
but
or after that? Because I've seen you cry before.
not on like a community
like,
retreat.
I've
I
seen
mean,
you
on
weep.
LTLC I have, but not like
yeah.
not like with like all my friends around.
For me, it was during my first retreat, which was an Edge retreat. And it was my first time. I think that's like the only Edge retreat, one of the only Edge retreats that we've
Yeah,
had.
we've only had that one.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have one this year. COVID.
Rip.
But it was my first time like experiencing adoration. And like at the time, I was like kind of awkward. Like I didn't really know how to like. I was a chubby kid, and then so I was kind of like I was lonely. And then at the time, it was a few years before, my niece and nephew had passed. And then like during adoration, I remember it was like hearing it, but also feeling it at the same time. Just like I heard or felt like they're okay. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to cry.
Here comes waterworks.
Yeah, that was like my main moment where I was.
I remember when you shared that in our small group because I was your small group leader and Andrew Lawbacher.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was only like 5 or 6 guys there, weren't there?
Yeah, there was only a few. Yeah. And a bunch of Rose Amalfitano was there. Sophia was
Sophia was
there. Yeah, that was my first year, I think. Yeah.
Feel old yet?
I got some grades.
I'll say mine. Mine is when. What's the red shirt one? Was it
Heart of God.
Heart of God.
Or Thrive.
The red
But you guys
shirt.
didn't call it Thrive.
Don't know Thrive. No,
I didn't
Heart
either.
of God. It was the adoration because that was the retreat after my dad had just passed away. So it was during that adoration, like I was going through it, and I just remember getting up and like crying really hard in Gabby's like hair. And she had like a bunch of tears and like, it was really nasty. But
It was a good
You
cry.
kissed
Yeah,
all in her
so
hair.
bad.
The ugly cry.
Literally. No, but I remember just crying in her, and then like I calmed down, and then I sat down again. And then I think it was Jenna and Kevin, they both came up to me on the side of me, and then I lost it again. But it's just like, I think that one, it was just more impactful, to say the least. I don't know. But yeah.
Were you like blowing your nose on Gabby's hair?
I
Yeah,
know.
I know, I feel bad, because I was like, Gabby, your hair. And she's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no. And
She's
got
like
to the
the
cabin,
only
she's
one that actually does her hair. on
Yeah, no,
retreats.
Gabby does her hair too, so I felt so bad. I was like curled and everything, but she gave me tissue, so it was fine.
Oh my goodness. I've seen some guys weep. I've
wept
retreats.
before.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so
I
mine,
Take it away, Chris.
mine would be Lacey and the core retreat. So we went up to Big Bear, and Jace had letters for all of us from like Father Sebastian and everybody. And Jace gave me a letter from Lacey, and he was like, don't tell anybody that you got this letter because she's the only teen that wrote to a core member. And I remember that like whole weekend was very just like eye-opening to a community that like was very important to me and my growth. I think we stayed up late and told testimonies, and like you forced us to tell our testimony, and I think that was like really hard. I remember it was really challenging for me, especially because I was like, I don't have a testimony, but then you have like Tyler and you have Mike and you have all these people that have like these beautiful testimonies, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, my testimony is just like saying yes every single day. I don't like that's it. I don't have like this life-changing moment. And I think thinking back after I received like all those letters, I had the best like prayer to the point of like opening up the Bible and like knowing exactly what he was trying to tell me. It was the most clear like description that I've ever had. Like, oh wow, this is it. This is how you know Bible study. And I think it was like everything at that point. So I think that's one of the moments.
I remember
Because
that.
I have
Yeah,
so
you gave
many
me-
other-
I don't know what year was I.
Junior, I think.
Oh,
maybe.
I like remember it now that.
Because I
And I
asked you.
still
and
have
you're
that
like-
letter.
Oh my goodness, Corinne.
It's in my Bible. So
They're sitting next to each other right now.
Like, so I have to.
So sweet. How come I didn't get a letter?
Did I have good grammar?
I don't think I'm as
Where's
worried
my
about
letter,
the
Jace?
grammar.
What?
Where's my letter?
Sorry.
This
Sorry,
is before
Lacey.
Jason's car broke down.
Really that
Yes.
much back then.
Before Jason's
All right,
car
now
broke
everybody's
down.
gonna expect a letter from Lacey. Like,
No, but I think Corinne was my first small group leader.
I was many.
Like, my first one, I think. So,
Jenna?
you know.
Every
Was it
retreat.
We all remember.
yeah, I think something that I thought you were gonna share is the one retreat where we were in the basement and singing.
That was part of the retreat.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Was that the
'cause it
same
was-
retreat?
Because it's Big Bear.
Oh. Well, yeah, but we've
Also
been
on the retreat, we were all staying, like, we're in the basement, and we all decided to do, like, a prayer together. I don't even know.
praise and worship. It was like,
But it wasn't even praise and worship. I think,
It wasn't
yeah.
the basement, right? It was like that little back room.
yeah,
It felt like
Yeah,
a
it was,
basement.
a back, it was like a half story. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
like.
And I remember Ashley started singing, We
We're
Are
all
Dry
dry
Bones, and everybody
Ooh,
just
that's-
started.
But this is like the music stopped. Like Stacy was standing in the
Yeah.
back with Fee, and she was kind of directing him on what song to sing, you know. And then she like right in between like the songs. Ashley
said, "I'm taking
she's like,
over."
Yeah, she's like crying, but she's like starts like singing "We're All Dry Bones,"
Yeah.
and it was just like powerful,
Yeah.
like, and everybody just started like singing and entering. It was so crazy. And then so he's like changing his capo and different things, you know. It was
and it's at that
crazy.
moment, just like, stop.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit's got it.
Yeah, let it go. Yeah, that was a good
The
one.
neighbors were like,
Actually,
bones.
Jace's house was our neighbor.
Oh, I know.
So
oh.
My
it
parents
was his
got it.
mom and dad.
I think
Yeah.
for the most powerful thing for me is, you know, when you get all the pieces of the puzzle together, from adoration to AMEs to drama, and just the joys that you have, like the side discussions, the dialogues and everything. But at the end, when everything is over and you're at home and you just have this energy
Yeah.
and this passion, and it's contagious and people see
I've never
it,
had that
right?
energy though.
No, like literally, like no,
after.
throughout the week, right? Like throughout
Oh,
the week,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you
yeah.
meet up for that retreat again, or the
Yeah.
retreat the week after.
Reunion.
Yeah,
Reunion, and then it's still there, and that power's still there. But see, coming from my end is seeing when Jeline used to come home, coming from retreats, and we used to take her out to dinner right from after she came home, and before we would stop to eat, she would say, "Hey, I want to pray," and that was powerful to me. That energy was like, "Oh shoot, it's really hitting her." Because before she left, she was her spirituality wasn't that deep yet. I guess it was just more reserved. And when she came back from it, it was more open, and just that. Those were the moments that hit me the most, where it's like you have this energy, you have this just passion to make difference in people's lives, and then you carry it with you throughout that week to the next week, and then especially on the reunion when you see everybody still have that passion and just happy, because even though it's stressful throughout that time, that's like we talked about, that journey. The journey is the best moment. It's not the end goal. It's just the journey that you had, and you start missing everybody and missing the little moments, and sneaking off and making coffee in the kitchen, and all the little things, just little side discussions, walking up to the cross and all that stuff. So I think it's just the entirety of the retreat and the aftermath too is what kind of makes it the best.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, something we don't talk about is like when the mass when we come back, and like when those because we've had hit or misses, but it's like those are some of my favorite times too. Is when their parents are like,
when the teens go up and talk.
And parents are just like,
like, is this the same kid I left?
Yeah.
Or it never fails. You come back here and there's like 3 or 4 backpacks that haven't been retrieved. You're like,
oh my gosh.
But going back to like the church, I remember this one moment. We came back from LTLC. It was my first time. So it was Jenna and Mel and Carly, Lissandro, and Neff. And I remember they came in to pray before Mass. And it changed the whole church. The whole church stopped talking. And like
they
chills,
melt,
honestly. And it's how 5 individuals went on this journey, and it brought it back. And then
I remember
during the Mass, we don't kneel before we receive.
I remember.
And you guys knelt, and the whole church knelt.
Yeah.
And I mean, there wasn't one person standing up, and you're just looking at it, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And
that's
I mean, that's
right
leadership.
there.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter your age. Oh my gosh, I remember that as well. It's like they came back and were just so kind of like, I'm going to make a change for months. I mean, it was like, it was a good long time that they were just on fire, and like, it was just crazy to kind of see like the difference. 5 teens. I mean, were you a sophomore?
Yeah.
Sophomore gonna be junior.
I was going into junior year.
And it's like everybody else was going into senior year, so it's like 2 upper or
me and Lissandra were going into junior year.
So 2
everybody else was going into senior year.
So it's like 5 individuals made. Yeah, that's crazy. I remember that as well.
Oh, I remember that one. Good one, Corinne.
Who has been now that we talked about moments? Anybody else want any spiritual moments? All right, great. Who has been, like, for you, doesn't have to be in life scene, but who in your own faith life helps shape who you are, like your spirituality, your faith life, and why and how, I guess, did they help shape? I know everybody's kind of sharing like little talks and different things and all that stuff, but it's like maybe there was a talk, maybe there was like teen testimony, maybe it's somebody that like you didn't really meet, but it was on a retreat or a Steubenville. I don't know.
Someone who shaped us?
Someone who's
I'll go
like,
first,
I don't know, shaped your spirituality.
And you're gonna hate this, but it's Jace Bravo. I think like
I should have said not me.
But I think it is you. I think like your consistent like want for us to grow in our faith. Like that's that. You know? Like it's kind of you're the like the little brother that's like, how's your prayer life? Like poking, like how's your prayer life? And it's like annoying, but then it's like, how is my prayer life? You ask that simple question, but it's so deep. And I think for so many of us, like you've been like the hand that picked us all up, and we're like, no, you got this. Like it was more of a casual, like you do it in such casual way that it doesn't feel
like a little brother poking you.
Yeah. But honestly, like that's that. So I would say you, and I would say Myra and David are like the two like together, that because I've always felt okay going to David and Myra and being like, I don't know how to pray. And they're like, here's books. And like, I'm struggling. And they're like, why are you struggling? And like, they're always there just to be like, okay, like
and
you're good.
They're so real too, you know?
Yeah. So
Those are good ones. Yeah. David and Meyer are really, they're really good and solid, because they're so real. Like they're not.
But I also see them as like my core.
Yeah.
For like you guys see me as like your core.
Yeah.
That's who taught me how to do this job that I'm doing right now. So like I feel like I can go and be like, this is not okay. Like I need help.
Shout out to David and Myra.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're listening.
They better be listening.
I think for me it's more than just like one or two people. Of course, Jace.
All right, no more saying my name.
I actually talked about it in my class the other day. I did like write a discussion about like someone who like helps you like stuff.
Gosh, people,
His ears
golly.
ringing.
And like but it's someone who helps you without like helping you. And how like you'll like help us with advice or whatever, but it's not like you giving advice, it's us being able to find that like, and that's just something special like not everyone can do. Like you go to some people and they'll just be like, oh, you need to do this, but like Jace doesn't say you need to do this. Like he helps you find the answer to like kind of make you feel like, oh, like I found the answer without Jace telling me, but he kind of helped guided it like. But yeah, my mom and my dad, they helped me a lot in my faith journey, and one of my friends too, Lysandra, that you guys went to LTLC with, he really helped me like stay in Life Teen, I think, because for a long time like my junior and senior year was just us, like the two guys, and yeah, we kind of held each other accountable, coming on Sundays and stuff. So yeah.
Jeez, it is powerful, like to lean on like somebody like that. You know, it's like having Lysandro and being able to kind of like, because even Christian, like there's not many guys that like stick around a whole lot. So
Really
it's like,
weren't.
yeah.
Not.
So
And even like to this day, like we live in different states now, but we still like keep each other accountable, like text each other all the time and stuff. Like, how's your prayer life? Like, did you go to mass? Like, blah blah. Like,
it makes a huge difference. Like. It's like your relationship with somebody. It's unlike all the other friendships. You know, everything else is kind of surfacey.
it's real.
Yeah, it's a real.
Because you open up to them, like, we weren't best friends, but we were like good friends through the church, and I think that helped me open up to him because we both had struggles in life. We both go through a lot of the same things. So being able to open up to him, who I know is like real and comes with me on a consistent basis, whereas my other friends, they would just turn their head the other way, not wanting to come to church. You just you can open up to them.
Thank you
points
for the
Jace.
thank you for the affirmations, but no more about me. Thank you guys.
Well, there's this guy.
He works in a church.
He's
He has
sweating.
3 kids.
I won't say names. I won't say names.
He has a lot of snacks. All right. I guess I'll go.
Okay, take it away.
Mine's an interesting one because there's several that kind of inspire me, but one recently that kind of triggered just how hard life can be and how easily we got it was Father Kevin. In our LT, the leadership retreat in
the
Arizona.
CYMC,
Yeah, I got a chance to kind of get some. We were just hanging out on the side, and got a chance to kind of pick his brain and ask him where he came from because he was so new to the church, right? New to kind of youth ministry, and you guys know we had challenges with him kind of adapting and so on and so forth. So I wanted to pick his brain and ask him what was his background, what he came about, so I can better understand what his challenges are. And that guy is amazing. He I don't know. I don't want to tell a story, but I don't know if you know. He was a priest with the military and kind of served on some of the things in Iraq and Kuwait. And it was phenomenal that he actually told me the stories and how difficult it was for him to be in a war, but also be in a priest, right? And then also praying over people that you just talked to and now probably have a limb missing or are on their deathbed, and to have that and then come back into a regular society and then also trying to adapt, which why made me understand why he was so reserved. But to have that faith, it was just inspiring to me that you can have that trigger point and still have that common faith and be open-minded, and then slowly kind of get back into just normal life that we're living now. So to me, it was inspiring to hear that, where I got to understand where he was coming from, but I also got to understand how deep his faith is and how much he really cares about the individual. Because I think God put him in a zone where, obviously we don't like war, but at the same time, you got to be there to support the people that are protecting us, so to say, and just to hear the different, like, how he almost had PTSD and how he still wakes up in the middle of the night, and it's kind of challenging for him. And he gets those demons, so to say, trying to come in, but his prayer life is so strong that he just keeps his faith. It was pretty awesome to hear that. And to me, it's like, okay, well, if I think I had it bad, man, this guy is kind of like that stone that you kind of understand why he's a little bit reserved. And I think now that's been like a year or so, he's definitely opened up a lot more and just gotten a lot better. But I was trying to understand why he was like that in the beginning, but now I kind of see from his past what challenges he's been through.
And being able to kind of see that and talk with somebody, is like, you never know the miles people have walked, you know, it's like,
and then when I was, I had I was doing the selfie with him in the videos. Oh, yeah. He was like trying to get into, so it kind of showed that he was like a real person too. And he kind of just, after like the third or fourth one, he was just all into it. Like, what's up? So it was pretty cool just to see him kind of open up and feel really like part of the crowd. So it was cool to see that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is a good one.
For me, it's a few people. Jace being one of them.
Can't say Jace.
I'm not gonna elaborate. But I was just gonna say. But my grandma and my grandfather that just recently passed away. My grandma, just because she's always constant with her faith, like she's always praying, and that's just something that's I really admire, and that takes a lot of. She lives a Catholic life, and that's something that I really like. It's hard as for me. I feel like living in today's time and like having a phone and being so constant with everything that's going on to see that and like be able to see somebody do that is something that's so like that I admire so much about her. And then with my grandfather, I didn't really think about this until like recently, like with his passing, but he like when he went through a lot in his life, and even through that he was still an usher at church. Like he was always like a quiet man, and he was always a reserved man. Like he was very humble, and like nobody really knew because he always did it in the early mornings of mass. But he would always like carry the baskets and like if you know at St. Peter and Paul they have like the basket with the pole. He would be the one that would like push it down, and he would always help at church, and he would live a very humble life. And he was a man who of not a lot of words, but he had a very big heart in that he always took care of those who needed help, and he always made sure that his family was doing okay. And I know that if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today or where my family was today. So I owe a lot to my grandfather for his great faith and also his great courage. And that's one of the reasons like why he's like, I look up to him even after his passing, even more because of his passing. I admire the man he was, and I hope to be like similar in any way to how he is. So, yeah.
Praise God. Yeah, that is a good one.
Appreciate that.
Mine is Miss Corinne.
Curry.
Curry?
No one calls her Curry.
I call her Curry.
Only Jenna.
Yeah. Mine's Corinne because on her first retreat, it was my first retreat as well. So I felt connected to it in a way. I was like, it's our first, like, we're going through this together, buddy, like, ins and outs. And then just, like, I still look up to Corinne as, like, a big sister to me. Like, literally anything I can talk to Corinne about, I'm just like, yo, like, I need help with this. And she's always so real and, like, authentic about it, where it's just, like, you can't help but be, like, Corinne, like, you're so right. Like, that's what I tell her all the time. I'm like, Corinne, like, you're so right. But I think just seeing her, like, grow into her faith while, like, still, like, being with her on this journey, it just truly inspired and amazed me to, like, grow deeper into my faith and to be, like, my authentic self and not let other people try to influence me and say, like, being Catholic's, like, not cool. So, Corinne, Thanks for that one.
Catholic is
Snaps,
cool.
snaps.
I was gonna say that.
Being Catholic is cool.
It really is.
Thanks, Jenna.
And there definitely is a mosquito because
Yep.
I got bit.
That's why we're long sleeve.
See,
I always
even the
get
mosquito
bit.
likes you.
No.
I have a sixth sense for mosquitoes.
Every time I come here for meetings, I always get bit, like my legs, like when we're
I don't know where they're
outside.
I got one on Sunday.
Oh,
And I don't know if it was
bit on
outside
Sunday,
or-
I
too.
better not get one.
Sorry.
It's a
I'll
bite
tell
you
him to just stay over this way.
I'm never coming on the pod if I get one.
on the pod.
God.
Lacey, how about you? You didn't go. You're the last one.
I don't.
Be vulnerable.
I know. I have so many people and so many events and so many things, so it's hard to pick who. So I'm gonna skip over me on this question.
She
Sorry.
is saying nay. I guess for me, like, not here at HT. I'm gonna go way back when I was a teen. And I don't even know the guy's name. I know who he's related to. I just don't know his name. I never really talked to him, other than he invited me to play apples to apples with the core team. And I was going down the wrong path on this retreat, and not with the right people. And it was like they were gonna do dumb things, and then this guy was like, "Hey, you should come play apples to apples," and like it was kind of like this this moment where I was like, "Sure," and I had some of the guys come up and tell me like, "Oh, are you coming on this hike or whatever?" And I was like, "No, I think I'm gonna stay here for apples to apples." And it's like weird to kind of say like a board game apples to apples, but I'm like that literally, like, I had such a blast and like got to know the core team, got to know the youth minister, just by like entering in, like, I don't know. So, couple other questions. What would you say to like a teen listening, like that maybe is like hesitant maybe, and it can be anybody. You can talk to like a senior that's maybe been in the program, or you can talk to somebody new. Sorry. You can talk to somebody new. I don't know. What would you say to somebody?
Hesitant about what?
I don't know. That's hesitant, like maybe to enter in or
Oh.
anything.
Okay.
I'd say don't be afraid. I feel like the biggest thing is people are scared of what they're gonna look like to other people when they enter in. And I think you just need to get over that fear of trying to look a certain way and like think like, oh, well, these people might not think it's cool if I do this. I think that's a big thing, because at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Is just making, like, not worrying about what others think, especially in this. Like, if maybe at school you can care or whatever.
Yeah.
But especially here, like, don't care, just do it.
I agree with that like a lot, because I remember after my first retreat, there was somebody who went there who also went to my middle school who was like, "Oh, Christian cried," and then I was like, "Yeah, I did," and they were like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah, I did."
Oh,
They didn't know what to say
Christian,
after
your
that.
sound effects for people.
It was like